Hey guys, it's Dr. Neville Campbell. Welcome back to the Wellness Hustle podcast. I know you guys have been watching the episodes. You've been hearing the stories of the different guests that we've had on. We've had on some great stories from entrepreneurs, lawyers, doctors. Again, the list continues, but all I can tell you is that the stories have been life-changing. If you have been inspired, please make sure that you like, follow, and share our YouTube channel. And also follow us on social media to get these stories. Share it with your friends. You're seeing how ordinary people transform their lives into extraordinary. And that's what this podcast is about, taking the ordinary and making the extraordinary and tracking and following that story and that journey. So today we have an amazing guest with us, Dr. Lorenzo Hunter. And when I tell you this man has been trailblazing since he started in the chiropractic space, from his training to what he brings to the space, his ethic as it relates to patient care. This is a man that I believe has something to say. This is a man that I believe has a message for you guys today. I'm excited for the message that's about to come. Mm-hmm. Let's hear it. Dr. Hunter, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Man, it's been a minute since I've been wanting to have you on here.
Yes.
So finally you're here today, and just, like I said before, this is just casual conversations. Mm-hmm. And in the conversations, as the stories evolve, we'll just go where the stories take us. So, again, no planned script for me today,
okay.
But I'll let you lead this discussion. So, a big part of success, and most businessmen that I've talked to, a big part of their success has been their foundation and family, mm-hmm. And their foundation and the support system, whether it's, their wife and their children. Let's talk about that for a second. Mm-hmm. You're married, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. So, how is being married with you starting your business, and how is it all playing out?
Mm-hmm. Well, I really feel that as a young man, it brings structure, it mm-hmm. brings balance. At the same time, of course, having a dedicated woman on your team always helps to multiply you mentally, spiritually. Like I said, it goes back to that balance, right?
Yeah. The
checks and balances, I feel like. So I'm never allowed to get too far outside of myself, right? Because that person at home, to everybody else, I'm Dr. Hunter. To that person at home, I'm Lorenzo.
Hey, Lorenzo.
Hey, let me pull you back here.
Back up for a second.
And it keeps me on the straight and narrow.
So a quick question here before we even get any further. So does your wife work with you in the practice, or she's not a part of your practice directly?
No, she's not a part of the practice.
Gotcha. No. So I've had some providers who have their spouse working in the practice, mm-hmm. And there's some pros and cons to that from what I've heard so far. What is your take on that?
Mm-hmm. Well, I do feel like it can definitely be of a benefit. Now, I will say at my College Park office, mm-hmm. She does, because she's in and out of there. So it has been times where she has had to step in. Yeah. Being that office is fairly new, and we've only been operating there now almost a year now.
Yeah.
So at times she has had to come in, and during those times I could actually see a difference also with the patients. Yeah. It's something about that family structure, I think, that people may see on the outside or from a different perspective, because when I interact with them, it's one way, but I've seen the way it changes when they've come into the office and they've seen her there, even though she's not necessarily working in any capacity, so to say. It's different, right? They feel more freer. They talk to her differently than they talk to me. Yeah. And I do feel like there's a lot of pros with that. Yeah. Now, some of the cons to that, it hasn't been any on my end, but I think that for some people, it could probably maybe hinder some of the relationships that they may have with their clients as well, because they may not know how to be around their spouse or whatnot. So, but for me, it's been good.
Amen to that, man. So, I've heard horror stories and I've heard really good stories. Yeah. My story has been a really good story. Yeah. My wife works with me in the practice. She's our practice administrator. And I'll tell you, you just said earlier, having, that partner with you, they provide balance.
Right.
They
Right.
provide some sort of like guidance, but also from a spiritual like sight standpoint, they're able to see things
Mhm.
that sometimes we're not able to see,
Right.
right? And
Right.
they're able to recognize patterns way before we're able to see those patterns. And
Mhm.
so for me, I know when she came to the practice, I saw the practice's revenue multiplied significantly. I saw
Mhm.
structure, I saw processes, I saw policies and procedures, all of this stuff solidified, right?
Yeah.
And again, people say, yeah, Dr. Campbell, you're the doctor, but we all bring different skill sets to the table.
Right.
And I can tell you that some of the guys and families that I've seen, husband and wife, really in business together, they've done really well. But also at the foundation of them being in business is also God, right?
Yes.
Having God as the center is what anchors them both together. And then they themselves, now as they pool together with God as their platform, they're able to do great things. So, just wanted to explore that because I
Yeah.
hear people, like, hey, my wife works here, my wife works here, but um, I'm always curious to know what the experience is and
Yeah.
how people are doing because I know it's not easy. But
Yeah.
those who make it, happen, it always seems like there is a reward at the end where there's a multiplier effect
Most
from
definitely.
that feminine presence being there.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree. And even though she doesn't work directly in the practice, she does a lot behind the
Yeah,
scenes with
yeah.
the
Oh yeah. Oh
systems.
yeah.
She's
Oh yeah.
great at that part of
Oh
it.
yeah.
So yes, it definitely works.
Cheers to the wives, man. Cheers to the wives.
Most definitely.
So, I gotta ask you, man, if it wasn't chiropractic care, what would it be?
Hmm. Wow, that's a really good question. Um, at one time, I did have a knack for computers
Mm-hmm.
before deciding to go into healthcare.
Okay.
Now, healthcare was always my
Okay.
first love, and I would say technology or computers was my second.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wasn't doing something in healthcare or as a chiropractor, it would probably be something in computer field,
Okay.
possibly.
What
Yeah.
made you decide chiropractic care versus computers?
So so growing up, I'll say growing up as a kid, right? I knew I wanted to be a doctor. That was
Okay.
my passion, right? Coming from a place where I didn't see or have any family members, I'm a first generation doctor,
Mm-hmm.
right? Didn't have those examples, didn't really see it. I felt like at the time, I didn't want to go to school that long. I said, I don't,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go to school that long to
Yeah,
make
for
money.
12
I want
for
to do
12
it right
years. You want
now.
to get it now.
Yeah, I want to get it now, right? And once I realized, like, because I entered college um, on the technology track, so to
Okay.
say, right? Computer technology track. And after my first year, I decided this is not what I really want
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
It's really healthcare. I really want to be a doctor. And at the time, I seen we were kind of going through the recession thing at one time, and I said I might as well do what I really want to do and what's my passion.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm doing what's my passion, then I know. I would hear people say, it's never worked to you.
Yeah.
And I can honestly feel that since I've chosen my field and seek my passion, it's not work for me.
Gotcha.
I really love it,
Yeah.
and so that's one part of it. But also, how can I put it? Just feeling like I had something to bring to the
Okay.
profession
All right.
myself, and I feel like as doctors, um, it's something more that drives you to be a doctor. There's a
Right.
reason everybody's not a doctor. There's very few. It's a little bit more than just the money
Gotcha.
or some of the other things that people think drives it, but it's something in the spirit that drives that as well.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
If I had to ask you, or if anyone,
Hmm.
as a matter of fact, catches you on the elevator or even in the supermarket, you just said you knew you had something to offer.
Yes.
What would that something be? And how are you offering it now?
Mhm. So I feel it's easy as a doctor to say you want to help. That's so cliche. I want to help, right? You can help being a doctor. I'm sorry. You can help by being a police officer, a teacher. You can help
Right.
by being a coach. But what more is it? And for me, it was the wow. I've always had a spiritual knack to practice and wanting to help people from a certain perspective, bringing compassion,
Mm-hmm.
empathy. At one time, I felt like when I went to doctors as a younger kid, I felt like I was always rushed. I felt like the sessions were short. Like I always left out feeling like, wow, like I was only in there for 5 minutes.
Something is missing.
Something's missing,
Yeah.
right? Something's missing. So I feel talking, listening, and really coming up with solutions was my thing. So that's the exciting part for me. Really sitting down, taking a patient history, listening to what the problem is, and for me coming up with a solution.
Gotcha.
It never gets boring to
Yeah. That's what passion is, right?
Yes.
When you're fueled and driven by passion, then
Yeah.
work is not work anymore.
No.
Right? Work becomes fun. Work becomes exciting.
Most
Work
definitely.
becomes the desire that desire gets you up in the morning. It fuels you through the day. When you go to bed, the desire is still there, right? So
Yes.
when we figure out how to transfer this energy from going to work, but I'm going to my passion. I'm doing my passion. I'm doing that thing that I know fuels my fire. Once that hits, then that's a game changer. A lot of
Yes.
people are still going to work.
Yeah.
A lot of people are still going to work every day. And again, yeah, they're tired, they're miserable, they can't wait for the weekend. But when you find a way to marry, to do that union between your passion and what work is, and that's when that flame begins to blaze.
Yes.
People begin to see you, but they're not even seeing you. They're just seeing an energy around you because you've found passion, and that has now ignited your flame. If your patients right now, if you surveyed 100 of your patients, what's one word that you'd say that they would use to describe you and your practice's care delivery currently?
Wow. One word?
One word. And why?
They would describe it as, wow, that's a good question.
I know.
These are things that are making me think.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know what? Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that because we're going to
Yeah.
come back to that one. But,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but put that back in the mind and keep ruminating over that.
Yeah.
Let's make it easier. Let's take it home. Do you have any kids?
I do.
How old are the kids?
7 and 10.
All right. That's great ages.
Yeah.
Probably
17.
both boys or girls? Or
Both girls.
Both girls?
Yes.
Girl dad, man. Come on now. Give it up. Give it up.
Definitely.
I got 3
Yeah.
girls, so I'm fully aware,
Yeah.
right? And now it's interesting because my eldest, she's 23. The younger 2 daughters are 15 and 16. And there was one point where I didn't recognize who the 23-year-old was. She was when she was starting college. I'm like, I didn't give birth to. Who was this? Oh my goodness, the lips, the mouth,
Yeah.
the energy. I was clueless. I didn't know anything because mom and I were clueless. We're old. We're disconnected. But she
Right.
knows everything. But the pendulum has slowly swung back now where she's now seeing that, oh, maybe mom and dad was right. But again, it takes time.
Yeah.
So you're a distant off from that time frame, but I heard it happens to everyone. So
Oh, yeah.
I doubt you're going to be,
Yeah.
be able to escape it. It's going to happen.
I hear the stories.
Oh yeah, it's going to
So,
happen. But if you should ask them right now to describe you, Daddy, with one word, what do you think they would describe you as?
Wow. I like to think of myself as the fun dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I like to think of myself as the fun dad. Yeah. Outside of that,
That means mom must not be the fun one then, because one has to be a balance, right? They can't be both the fun.
Yeah.
All right. So who do they get away with things from the most?
Wow.
I mean, you're a dad. I mean, I know how they know how to twist. I mean, you tell me.
Yeah, I guess it's a balance, but wow, I guess it depends on the time and the moment because outside of being the fun dad, I'm still like the structured dad
Amen to
also,
that.
right?
Yeah.
So I do feel like that has a place. But they definitely get away with more with mom, I would say.
Oh,
For
really?
sure. Yeah,
Oh my
I think
goodness.
so.
I got to take some lessons from your wife to say, if they get away, because for me, they always get away with stuff.
Yeah.
My wife
Yeah.
kind of holds it down, but I'm like, they're like, Dad, and they smile, and before you know it, I'm like, what do you want? Okay, here you go. But again,
Yeah.
girls and dads, and I heard boys and moms, that they have this sort of relationship
Yeah.
that's very different. But my girls, I tell you what, when they would describe me, because I ask the question a lot, because it's good to hear the perspectives of your loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
How would they describe you? I know that for me, for years, I was on the grind, working, and I wasn't really at home a lot of the times.
Right.
Especially during post training and the first like 8 years of training, I was in the hospital so much. In the morning at 5 o'clock, get home at 6, 7 o'clock. They're getting ready for bed. I'm reading while I'm eating something, and I'm reading from then till midnight, and then I'm up again early before they leave. So one day I did this little temperature check after I was done with training.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them said, the middle one said, well, Dad, that's easy. Like, never here. And it hit me.
Wow. Yeah.
It hit me. In our busiest moments when we're trying to provide and produce, sometimes we can lose in this process if we take our eyes off what is really important. Not that earning a living wasn't important, but also in their minds, right? They could not comprehend how I was not there more often.
Right.
And no matter how you try to explain it to them logically, you just can't, because in their reality, you're just not there.
Right.
And so, it's something that we deal with as professionals as we build practices and we expand practices. It's something that we come across where you're now having limited time. You're balancing time with practice, with whatever seminars you have to go to, marketing efforts you're doing. Children needs time. Wife needs time. And so you're trying to figure all of this out as one person.
Yeah.
How do you juggle this?
Oh, it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. So I can relate. I can definitely relate to you. And, you've probably been practicing a lot longer than I have. So I'm pretty sure there's probably been a shift, right? And that's what I'm working on now, getting to that point of that shift, being able to have the proper systems in place so that the business can run smoother, right? So that I could also do a better job of duplicating myself so that I don't have to spend as much time there, right? So so currently I am kind of going through that, right? Where I am away from home a lot. So I like to take days throughout the week, even on the weekends, typically where we'll just spend like family time together, right? So at one time I made it a thing where I would pick my daughter up from school on certain days out the week, and we would just go to the library and we would study. We would do homework, right? Other days, maybe like on a Sunday, we would go to a trampoline park, just to have that time. And I try to be really good about reading bedtime stories.
Yeah,
that's our
that's
thing
good.
now, right? Like I get home late already, so I make sure that if nothing else, we read a story, a bedtime story.
Gotcha.
Right. So it is hard to do that. Even with my wife, we'll do like gym time. Gym time for us is a big thing, right? We'll go to the gym together. If it's not the gym, we may go to. We have this thing. We'll go to the park, like Piedmont Park, maybe one day out the week. Another day it may be Grant Park, and we may just walk the park.
Right.
That's our exercise. That's our time together. And we'll try and pick one day out the week, if not on the weekend, to just go out and have like just time. We may just go and sit and have a cocktail and an appetizer, but just to connect, just to have our time, right? So it's challenging fitting those things in and just making sure it's consistent.
Yeah.
No,
absolutely. I mean, you've really just discuss indirectly or directly the key elements of what is required for a successful relationship as you're building a business. One has to make time.
Yeah.
And we make time for the things that we truly want.
Most definitely.
That's
how
the
it goes.
reality. We make time for the things that we truly want. When it comes down to it, we never have enough time, right? Whether it's your quest to build, there's always more to do. There's always more work to do in the office. There's always more work to do to connect with people out there. There's always more CMEs to do. If we're not intentional about the things that are really valuable in our lives, then we can get to places where we end up in the trenches of regret later. And I think that's what it is for most of us as business professionals. We are at this crossroads of where we're trying to build our business. And in this build, we see where we want to go with the business. We see the multiples that we're looking to get. And we know sort of the formula of what it takes to get them: additional offices, additional staff members, additional contacts and relationship. But as you're just expanding this web and trying to build this empire, also, that's requiring time. And time is one of the few resources that once spent, we can never get it back. And so it's always a tricky thing when I talk to young entrepreneurs, what is the 5-year plan? What is the 10-year plan? And I hear a lot of people talk about 5 and 10-year plan and how the business is going to scale and grow, but not many people talk about family.
Right.
That's a part of the plan too.
That's part of the plan. Yeah.
Right. You cannot expect to get there without the family structure. And so as I listen to these plans, I listen to hear what is the plan for family in the picture. Because in the end, when you think about it, right, we're all here, we're amassing, we're aspiring in this short journey that we have here on earth, right? It's a short journey. Most men is 78 years old or 75. Women is 78. Supposedly, that's the life expectancy in the US right now.
Right.
Short journey. The question is, during the short journey, right, as you're amassing things and as we're growing and as we're expanding, one, impact. What impact are we leaving? Not just with the people that we're coming in contact with, but the lives that were entrusted to us, our children, our wives. And so this is something that in the latter portion of my career, right, I started realizing that, there's more work to be done. I've done well in building systems and building practices. But from a family standpoint, I think there's more work that I could have done intentionally about showing up and not missing, the little practices or yes, I know it's 2 or 3 and they're graduating, but it's not, it's just a 3-year-old graduation. But sometimes they look in the audience, is mommy and daddy there? Yeah. Or is someone that I recognize there? That football practice, that basketball practice, they're always looking. So to me, a huge shift in the mid portion of my career when I recognized that the time is so limited and so valuable that I must make more of a concerted effort to plan into the schedule, family, plan into and make it be a non-negotiable. Because if we don't, things will take us away from that time. If you had to leave a couple words to a young chiropractor who is about to graduate, about to start right now, he's have a family, he may be a husband with a wife and a child on the way. What words of hope, encouragement, and inspiration would you provide to this young person?
Definitely. I do that often, right? I love pouring back into the up and coming students or professionals in school or afterwards, right? Because it's a journey, right? And I always tell them to enjoy the journey, right? It's not going to be easy in the beginning, but it's going to take some consistency. Of course, it's going to take hard work and dedication. Of course, we know that. But just not looking at your setbacks as failures, but looking at those as learning points, right? To get it better, to tailor whatever it is that you're trying to do to get to where you need to be. You're going to get to points where, you feel like, okay, you've leveled up. And then at that point, you may drop back down before you level up again. But it's the consistency and the building. And I always tell them, don't fall for the fool's gold. Just when you think you have it all together, you look up and then you right back at square one, right? And so it's just always keeping your eyes on on the prize, and just making sure that you're being consistent and that you're setting your intent on where you want to be, and you'll get there.
Doc, that's the word for the day, I tell you. That is the word, man. Thanks a lot. So if folks are watching this episode and they're interested in finding your practice, finding, where to find you, where to reach you, how would they do that?
I can actually be reached on Instagram. It's going to be at Atlanta Spine Doctors. You can also reach me at Dr. Lorenzo Hunter as well. Also, you can go on my website at www.atlantaspinedoctors.com, of course, and Google search, of course, I should pop up as well.
That's it, y'all. That's it. So, folks, you've heard it from Dr. Lorenzo Hunter, one of the leading chiropractors here in Atlanta. And when I tell you, a strong professional, really care about his patients, really care about the quality of work that they're delivering in his practice. And that's what really caught my attention with Dr. Hunter. Doc, it's a pleasure having you on the podcast today. Definitely. Thank you for sharing the stories.
Thank you.
And much apologies for the unscripted questions.
Yeah.
I like to just roll with it, and wherever the conversation takes us.
I love it.
I just flow with it. So yes, sir. I appreciate you playing along with that.
Well, the question, I don't know if you wanted to go back to it.
Oh, yes,
the
absolutely.
one that you asked,
Absolutely.
about.
Yes.
And I sat here and I thought about how would my patients.
Yes. So the question was, if you could survey 100 of your patients right now, what do you think that there would be? What would one consistent word or one word that would come up more frequently than others in that description?
I genuinely think that it would be compassion.
Compassion.
I genuinely think that it would be compassion.
And why is that so?
My patients, I make sure that they understand that I really care, right? I make sure that each visit, we're having a conversation about improvement or not. I even sometimes will mention to them, hey, I'm asking these questions because I really want to know how you're doing. I really need to know what I need to improve upon, because it really bothers me if people are not getting better. Yeah. And they know that. Yeah. They know that. So, and sometimes I have to give myself grace in knowing that everybody doesn't respond the same every time. Sometimes it takes a little longer, right? So I think it would be compassion.
Yeah. And that's a strong one, Doc. Thank you for sharing that. We can't provide care without compassion. A lot of us are, big empaths to begin with. Our hearts are so big, and that's what's led us to the space of medicine. And actually, that's what has kept us in the space, because people think that medicine and chiropractic care, et cetera, is all about money, and it's really not. It is a labor of love. And God knows that it really is a labor of love. When you look at the metrics and look at, the margins, it's really not a lot. But these are some people who I know have dedicated their hearts and their lives to helping others, but not just to help, but to actively listen and connect with people, giving them hope in the process. That's the care that I see you guys delivering. And thanks again, man, for being here with us, sharing your story, sharing your journey, and telling us about the compassionate practice and the care that you guys deliver. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Thank you.